Welcome to the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. My name is Claire Hill, self-belief coach and founder of the Vivid Business Club. And as you know, this is the same thing every single episode, beginning because Stephen, what's his face, says it. Have you subscribed and followed to the podcast? The more subscribes and follows to the podcast, the better the guests, including Aggie Meroni, who's here today with me. Woo, 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 woo.
That was
Hello.
me. That was me.
I'm on a roll today. It's just like podcast day. I'm on a roll. How you doing, babe?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
Very welcome. I found you through a mutual friend, Barbara Gill, who she's in one of my group programs, and she was like, "You've got to get Aggie on. You've got to." And so here you are.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, she thinks you're amazing. Do you want to introduce
Gosh.
yourself?
Yes. So my name's Aggie Meroni, and I'm a specialist in Facebook and Instagram ads, and I run an agency called White Bee Digital.
Love it. Where does the name come from? I'm just going to go straight in with that.
Do you know what? I actually had a bit of a wobble about the name recently, and I actually put it out on LinkedIn saying, I don't know if I need to change the name, but I love it. I love what it stands for. So when I set up my business in 2020, I really struggled to find a name. And so I just thought, what are my actual values? Like, what do I really want to take with me when I have my business? No matter what I end up going to do, like, because I know things always evolve, like what will stay with me throughout my business journey. And that was values such as honesty, transparency, being an independent thinker, but working really well as a team. And I just thought, well, the colour for honesty, integrity, transparency is white, just symbolically. And then I just love bees because they're like little Trojans, aren't they? They just work really hard and they are off like buzzing around on their own, but they always come back and it's for the greater good of their team, like their family, their little hive. So that's where the name White Bee came from. So I'm White Bee Digital.
I love that. It's memorable. I love it.
Yeah. Do you know where the wobble came from? It's because as my business has grown and now I'm an agency, when you see other marketing agencies, they always have these really cool names. They're always like one word and like very cryptic and stuff. And I was like, mine just seems a bit twee. I just thought White Bee Digital. And then I thought, actually, no, stay in my lane. I like the name and it represents me. So I'm going to stick with it.
I think it's a really cool name. It's better than Claire Hill. That's just my name. Like, let's be honest. I mean, my brand is all Vivid, and that is because my nickname is Vid. My maiden name is Vidler, so everyone calls me Vid outside of work. So Vivid that's why it's Vivid everywhere. But really, the business is Claire Hill Limited. So boring. But
I love that. I love that everyone has a story behind their business name.
oh yeah. Oh, I was sitting at a traffic lights once, going, "Wouldn't it be brilliant if I had a business with the name Vivid in it? That'd be so cool." What would the business be? Oh, I'd have to go into printing, vivid colour printing. I'd have to do like printing business cards. Okay, then that was the idea. But I remember, like, literally, I was sitting at these traffic lights and I know exactly where I was. So I know I love White Bee Digital. I love it, but it's always good to have a little wobble to it, like reflect and elevate, isn't it? Just check you in, like you say, in your own lane.
Yeah, definitely. It was worth having a little moment to pause and think about it and then decide I'm okay.
Good. Love it. So tell me, where did it all begin? Once upon a time.
Oh my God, I have not done like Facebook ads like since I was born. Like some people are like born and like, I'm going to be a doctor. When I was at school, Facebook didn't exist.
No.
Facebook ads didn't exist. Social media did not exist. That is like totally show my age, I know.
Yeah.
But do you know, it was really weird. Sometimes you have these really weird memories.
Yeah.
Like, I've not actually shared this with anyone before.
I love it.
I had this memory. It must have been like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I remember sitting in my English class when I was about 15, and we had this really woo teacher. She was brilliant. We found out later that she was actually like a lady, like Lord and Lady. But she loved, and I didn't go to a posh school. I went to just a normal school. And she just loved teaching in English. So she became an English teacher. And one of our tasks one day was to be at an ad agency and to have a product and create an ad for it.
Oh, wow.
I still remember the ad today. It was for something like Impulse. It's like a body spray. I'm obviously a girl of my time.
project at school to do a deodorant ad.
Yeah, and we had to create like the art for it, the messaging, everything. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I absolutely love this. And then because I wasn't classed as a creative person, like I wasn't like a very arty, like I love art, but I'm not actually very good at it. But I'm quite good at creative thinking. I automatically just boxed the idea off and was like, I just can't do it because I'm not a like a really hipster person. And now, look at me. I'm running an ad agency. So I was like, maybe that's where it all began. And I self-edited myself at 15 that I couldn't do it. And now I'm actually doing it.
Oh, incredible. It's incredible what we do when we think we can't do something, like the opposing resistance and the other journey. So what did you end up going into then if that was closed off?
So I've had a very, very topsy-turvy career, which I think a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
So after uni, I actually discovered like a passion for South America because I did some Spanish as part of my degree, and I had the most amazing Spanish tutor who was from Chile, and I'd never really heard about anything to do with South America before. But then I was like, I need to go and see it. I need to go for myself. So my whole aim after uni was to earn enough money to get out there. So I did loads of stuff. I was a conference producer. I worked as a fundraiser for a charity, like to corporates. And then I worked at Channel 4 for a while, and that was
Mm.
amazing. I had so much fun. But I was like, no, I need to go. So I went off and I went to South America on my own for about a year, came back and I was like, I have no money and I'm in so much debt, but I had the best time. So I was like, right, I just need to get a job, like any job. So I went for an interview at a finance company and I was like, oh, this is not my life. I don't want to work there. But they're like, you'll be perfect in sales. You're friendly, you're chatty, you're not doing an admin job. I was like, I don't want to do sales. Like sales is horrible. I had like Wolf of Wall Street vibes.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not like that at all. We have the clients, you just keep them happy and sell them more stuff. Like
Okay.
it's not aggressive. I was like, nah, yeah, I can do that. So I obviously started at the bottom. I was like a assistant to one of the sales directors. Absolutely loved it. It was loads of fun, not the career I had sort of envisioned for myself. But I was there for 10 years in that industry, and there were great things as part of that. I worked with some extremely intelligent people, like very bright. But I also, it wasn't my vibe. Like, I'm not a finance person, and I really didn't like the corporate world, like the office politics. And as a woman, you are kind of restricted in finance. It's starting to get better, but I was like, I'm just fighting every day for
Mm.
things, and I just thought I had no energy left. So just as I was about to like think about moving, like whether it was jobs or career, I don't know, I found out I was pregnant. So I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely staying because I need maternity pay. And then when I was on maternity leave, they made me redundant.
Okay.
I knew it was coming. Like I had the anxiety about whether they were going to do it before I went off and if I was going to have money to be on maternity leave, whatever. But when I was on maternity leave, I got the call and I was just it was just relief. I was like,
Mm.
thank God. I actually don't have to go back.
Yeah.
And I'd actually already consciously made that choice that I wasn't going to, or I'd at least go back the amount I had to not
Yeah.
pay my maternity leave, whatever. And then whilst I would been like thinking about all these things, like what am I going to be doing? I literally, as I said, I'm not one of these people that has a passion. Like I'm not someone that has to paint 24/7 or, I'm really into like I love music, but it's not something I want to create. I don't have like I never had that thing that was me. And then when I was in this frustrated like period in my career, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like I know I need to leave, but to do what? Like I'm in a really comfortable position financially in my job. I can't go back to working for like 15K a year because it's just not enough to support me anymore. Like I need something. And then totally by chance, and this is all like where I'm a bit woo, so I'm like, this all happened at the right time,
Mm.
and I've discovered things at the right time. So I discovered a podcast all about e-commerce, and I was absolutely hooked. Like for someone who works in finance or worked in finance, it's really like old-fashioned, slow to adopt technology and stuff like that. I hadn't heard about any of these things, like any of this digital marketing stuff that people were doing.
Mm.
And I was like, this is blowing my mind. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe this is happening in the world. Like, where have I been? Like, I've literally been under a rock. I can't believe I don't know any of this. So I literally binged those episodes on the tube. So I had an hour commute each morning and evening. So I was listening to all these like amazing inspirational stories about people that had found a gap in the market, created an e-commerce site, and changed their lives, literally
Mm.
changed their lives. And I was like, this is me. This is what I've been looking for. Like, I need to try and find like how to do this. So
Yeah.
I kind of managed to like get in a bit with the digital marketing team at work and was like helping them out with a few things. I was like, I love this. This is what I've been looking for. It sounds so geeky, but I was like, this is it. So I found a course. It was like a postgrad diploma at the Digital Marketing Institute. So I was like, okay, it's like a recognized body. It's like the formal marketing body for digital marketing. And it was all remote, which was pre-COVID. So this is like really like unusual at the time to have a
Yeah.
complete remote course that was credible. Because at the time there
Mm.
was a lot of stuff online, but you never really knew who's it run by or,
Yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do it. So I was like, this is such a big investment as well for me financially, because I don't know if anyone can relate to this who's listening, but when you're employed, your frame of mind is so different about investing in yourself. Because
Mm.
when you're employed, you expect someone else to always pay for you to do personal development things.
Yeah.
Whereas when you finally decide to do something for yourself, suddenly you have to pay for it. Like your hand
Yeah.
is in your pocket. So that's a lot more risk because you're taking that leap. So I was like, I'm just gonna have to do it. Like I've got this calling, like this gut feeling that this is what I need to do. So when I was 5 months postpartum with like tiny babe, my husband was out of work at the time or between jobs, whatever. So he was like full on childcare, and I just was literally doing this course, and it was amazing. It's like the first time in my life, time just like flew by. Like I ended
Yeah.
up going to my local library to study, and like before I knew it, the day had gone. I was like, how's that happened? Like time just was like that, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then for my final module, I had to do actual work experience. I had to find a company that would need some digital marketing help, and I had to write the whole strategy for them and how they're implementing it and according to their budget and goals and all that kind of stuff. And I ended up reaching out to quite a lot of companies, and one like snapped my hand off, and it was like an eco refillable detergent company, which was
Yeah.
totally in line with my values and everything. And I was like, this is so exciting to be working with a dynamic company where the founder's like a visionary, really, in his niche, and just actually helping to make a difference to make this company more successful.
Mm.
So I was like, right, I'm gonna finish this. And then my goal was at the time, I had it all planned out. I knew what I was gonna do. This control freak in me. I was gonna apply for a job as a digital marketer at this local agency that I know of, finish by 5, pick up my son from daycare, and that would be me, 9 to 5, happy as Larry, doing digital marketing. Literally, the minute I submitted my paper, COVID hit. And like the world locked down. I was like, okay, this isn't working out so great because every
Huh.
agent was firing people.
Mm.
No one really clocked, and no one knew at the time what the impacts would be of the pandemic, how long it would last. So the knee-jerk reaction was for everyone to cut expenses because the world was shutting down. Little did they know the digital world was about to explode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, no, I like even as a digital marketer by then, I had no idea that this was going to happen.
Mm.
So it's kind of, again, it was like for me, serendipitous that I'd literally just trained in digital marketing and then the whole world like closed down.
Yeah. That's so.
I was like, this is crazy. Like now people are starting to like train up on it because they realized how important it is.
Mm.
So, and also as like I was like mid-30s by then, just career change. There is a lot of stigma around mums that career change. So no one was really taking me seriously when I was approaching like age of like established agencies. They were looking for the cardboard cutout, fresh grads. I think their salaries were starting at about 18K, I want to say, and that's the
God.
salaries that they were putting me forward for. And they said, oh, but you get a ping pong table and a beer fridge. I was like, I literally don't care. Like, all I want is to get home for 5 because I need to pick up my son from nursery. I don't want to drink beer with you in the office. I literally want to do an amazing job for you and come home.
Yeah.
Was like, there is just no alignment into where I am in my life. The life experience I have and, the professional experience I have that is transferable to your company. And also, the reality of how much you need to earn. because I live in
Mm.
London. Like, it's just not possible to survive if you have a
No.
home and everything like that. I was like, okay, looks like I'm setting up my own company. And I was literally like terrified. I was like, I always knew at some stage I would run a business. I had it in my mind. I don't know how, just subconsciously, I knew I'd have something,
Yeah.
but I never knew what that would look like. And I never knew what it would be. And it didn't even click to me really that this thing that I'd found that I loved would actually be what I ended up doing for a living. It
Yeah.
wasn't in that moment I thought this is it. And I was like, oh, okay. This is someone that spent like over a decade in corporate. I didn't know how to set up, like, I had registered a company in February because I thought I'd be contracting maybe for a bit. But, I had to set up my Starling account. I had to set up, I got an accountant as soon as I could. This is completely uncharted water for me. I was absolutely terrified. And it took me 5 months to get my first client. So I decided on my son's first birthday, which is the 12th of May, that was my official birthday of my business. So every time it's his birthday, it's like my business birthday as well. It's easy to
Yeah.
remember.
Love that.
It's like evolved so much because at the beginning I was doing organic social and then I trained in ads, and ads is really like where I found my passion. I was like, this is just amazing. So I just niched it, in 2020, and that's literally what I've done ever since. And I just live and breathe it, basically.
Oh God, I love this story. This is the best bit about having a podcast is when you hear everybody's like origin stories. I just love it. It. And you got
Everyone has a
there and it's
different
like,
story as well, don't they?
yeah, it's so cool. So now I'm going to open the floor to you, Aggie, and you can now
Woo!
geek out to your heart content all about Facebook ads because they scare the bejesus out of me. I've managed to link a little bit of the tech up in my thing, ad thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, data thing. I've done that. I did that last week and I felt really, really chuffing myself because I actually managed to link the tech. But other than that, I've boosted a couple of posts and I had seen one of your lives about whether boosting is good. So I just wanted to lay out, and I know more than most. So geek, go for it.
So I'm going to go ground zero here, as
Yeah.
if like whoever's listening to this is like, huh? What are
Yeah.
Facebook ads? Like, I don't
Yes.
know why they're good. I don't know why this crazy person loves them so much. Like, what is the big deal? Okay, so Meta, they're called Meta ads now, but essentially it's ads that you run on Facebook and Instagram. It's the same, they're the same thing. So if you run ads on Meta, your ads appear in both places. So that's brilliant in itself because you've got double the like real estate for your money. So that's
Yep.
one thing I love about it. But also I love the fact that small businesses now, but by small, that is quite a generic term. This could be one-man bands to, employees, like 50 employees. That's like the definition of a small company. They now have a platform because before you'd have to pay big bucks to TV stations, radio, massive billboards on the
Mm,
motorway.
yeah.
Whereas now, for £30 a day, you could be selling stuff on the internet, which is incredible, I think. It just has leveled the playing field so much. And I have worked with hundreds of companies now. 4 years ago, couldn't imagine that I'd have said that, but there's been such an explosion in people being intrigued by this kind of like beast, like the dark arts of Facebook
Yeah.
ads. And don't get me wrong, if you don't get your foundations right, or you maybe partner with the wrong ads partner, you can lose money. And the reason that happens is maybe there isn't enough knowledge by the person that's delegating, so they're not sure what flags to look for. Maybe things aren't working well. So I guess for me, what I'm going to sort of outline to you is what you need to have set up or what you need to think about before you even start running ads. Because sometimes people run them and they're not quite ready, and that is also really bad.
Mm,
So whether you sell a product or you have a service that you want to promote, there's some things that you just need to have ready to
mm,
go. So number one, is the thing that you want to sell selling well organically? So whether you're selling, I don't know, this is really random, soap or window cleaning services, are you busy? If you're busy, that means what you're selling, there is organic demand. Ads are kind of like a magnifying glass. So if something's working well organically, there's a high likelihood it's going to work with ads.
Mm.
If your business is in a bit of a dicey situation and you're struggling financially, there's probably an underlying reason in your business that things aren't going great. So if you suddenly start spending money on ads, if there's an issue there, the ads aren't going to help. And
Mm.
I do turn brands away, businesses away when they come to me in that situation. It's like business is really slow. And I was like, I don't think ads can help because there's obviously something else happening here. So I'm happy to help you review that. But at the moment, the ads are not a good investment for you. Another thing which totally freaks people out is the tech. And I'm not surprised, even as an ad strategist, expert in Facebook ads, like lead trainer and Meta, everything like that. It baffles me sometimes when things change overnight. Suddenly there's a restriction or there's an error message and it's just glitches, so many glitches. I'm pretty confident I've seen most of them now. But I
Mm.
still get caught by surprise if I do like a one-off consultation or something. I'm like, whoa, I've not seen this before.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what you need to go into it with. I know this is like probably making people even more terrified. But rule number one, refresh. If there's a glitch, refresh. Just see if it goes. That's what most ad managers do. Because sometimes it looks like there's a problem and it isn't actually, it's just their software's glitchy.
Mm.
It's really important that you set if you're a business owner, that you have business manager set up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, business manager is like an umbrella for your business, and under there, you can invite other people into your business. So you might have, a VA, you might have a marketing assistant, maybe you've got a business partner. They can all be in there, and you can assign them permissions to different what we call assets. So you
Mm-hmm.
might have your business Facebook page, your Instagram profile, your e-commerce, like commerce manager, like all these things, your ad accounts, and you can assign different permissions.
Yeah.
If you decide to delegate your ads to an agency or a freelancer, you can add them as a partner in there so
Mm.
they can just manage the ads for you. So this is like the most essential first step that you get it set up. Sometimes there are some issues connecting your assets, and that's when people sometimes book in with me just to double check all the setup.
Mm.
Once you've got all the tech set up, and this is usually honestly which blocks a lot of people because they think, oh, I don't understand tech. Getting a pixel set up on your website as well is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes I find like the jargon, as what I call like pixel. I was like, what's a pixel? I don't understand the words, and it kind of makes people a bit uncertain and feel
Yeah.
unsafe because it's all new. So a pixel, in the simplest way to say, is essentially a bit of code that Facebook creates uniquely for your business, and then it's added to your website. So when people interact with your Facebook and Instagram account, go onto your website, Facebook's tracking them all the time. And that's how you create audiences for your ads. So, oh, someone that visited my website or they engaged on my Instagram or my Facebook, you can create an audience of those people either to show them certain content. So say, oh, these people know me. Let's just like remind them of that webinar I'm running, or I'm doing a flash sale this weekend, or I've got this offer running this month. I'm gonna target my warm audience with it.
Mm.
That's just an example of things that you could do from having that pixel set up. If
Okay.
you have various like web platforms, they will automatically integrate Facebook for you. If you go to integrations, you can automatically set it up. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. So that's just an overview of like tech. I do have like a meta ad starter kit, which I can send you the link to. And
Mm.
that has like a list of all these things that you need to have ready. So you can just work through that. Um, I have to say, like, I know I'm saying this from a space of experience and someone who does it every day. So for me, it is easy. But actually building the ad on the platform is the easy bit.
Mm.
The downfall I see with lots of businesses is they don't think about why their ideal audience wants the thing that they're selling. They
Okay.
don't really get into like, the messaging of the ad is so important. Like, is it something that people really need? Is it something that they want? So, I mean, I always use jewelry as an example for this. No one really needs another pair of earrings. Like, they want the pair of earrings. Like, why do they want it? You'll buy it because you'll see it and think, I need that. That looks amazing, you know?
Mm.
And you know, if someone needs their drive power washed, it's probably not something that they need all the time, but seasonally, maybe in spring, your business would go, right, we're going to go all in on ads this month because this is when people are starting to sort out their garden or, you know, that kind of thing. And then the creative. So what do I mean by ad creative? So, you know, what do people see when they look at your ad? Lots of people don't think about this enough. This is like the first touch point a lot of people are going to have with your business. So, and you don't have to go crazy. Like, less is more with social media ads. So, you know, people see between 4 to 10,000 ads a day. Your brains protect you from this, because if you were to absorb every single ad that you see, your head would probably explode.
Mm.
So it filters out most ads you see, and you'll probably only really clock about 100 of those. So you want to be one of those 100 ads that your brain or your customer's brain or client's brain is seeing. So
Mm.
it's really important, you know, that it's eye-catching, it stops them scrolling. Because if you think about it, when you're on your phone, are you really like focused?
No,
No.
yeah, yeah.
You're probably like watching telly, making yourself a cup of tea. Maybe you're on a Zoom, having a like cheeky scroll. Maybe you're listening to this podcast and it's on in the
Yeah.
background and you're just like scrolling. So you're never
Mm.
100% focused on your phone. So that's why it's even more important that I call it the blink test. It's probably not a unit, you know, it's probably not my phrase. I'm sure someone else uses it too. But like, if someone like blinked at your ad, would they know in a blink what you're talking about, like what you're selling?
Mm.
It's such, and it's actually really, it's harder to get right than you think.
Mm.
Lots of people try and put too much in. So, oh, I need to add this and this and this. It's like, no.
It's
What's
like
the
value
Chanel?
for money, isn't it? Like the
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
information I get on one post, the better.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's like,
Mm.
no, just have like one thing that will hook the people in, like grab their attention. And then you kind of fill in a bit more detail in your ad copy. So, you know, those emotional triggers, like, is it going to make them feel good? Is it making them feel like safe? Like, what is it in your ad that's making it a no-brainer that they need to
Yeah.
click on ads? And that's either you're building your email list. So what is the offer that you've got that is going to get someone to part with their email address for you? Or, you know, what is that thing that you're selling that is solving that burning problem this person has, and it makes it absolutely a no-brainer for them to click on that ad to your website. So yeah, this is where the work comes in. The work happens before you even think about building your ads. You have to think about all these things. Um, One kind of tip for anyone listening to this, if you're really struggling, and I know it's hard sometimes with ad copy to really know, well, what do I say? Go to your competitors' websites, Google business reviews, Amazon reviews, wherever you can find reviews, and find the people that aren't happy. So what is it about your competitors that people aren't happy with, or
Mm.
that they think they could improve? And then flip those issues, and then that is what your product or service will do for your customer. So you need to show how you're different from other people doing what you do,
Mm.
because there's always going to be some kind of competitor, unless it's like an innovation in your space and no one else is doing it. Then you have a bit of a different issue. You need to educate people about what it is that you do, because they might
Yeah.
not even realize they have a problem.
Yeah. Oh
um
God, you're blowing my mind, Aggie, but it's blowing my mind in a good way.
it's getting you thinking like, oh God,
It's yeah,
I've got
I'm
so
just
much to
like,
think about.
but I think you're there's so many layers to it, but it's worth it, isn't it? If you really want to this isn't a quick, let's stick a post on Instagram, I'm going to make some sales. This is strategy and
Mhm.
planning and really thinking really carefully about what you're going to put in. And I'm guessing trial and error as well. There's like a
100%. So mindset is actually a huge part of ads,
mm.
and I see it quite a lot. There's a difference between businesses that are running ads for the first time and businesses that are quite well established and already have like an assigned budget every year saying, this is the budget, this is what you need to do. When a business comes to me, perhaps for the first time, they're like, what do I need to spend? So they might not actually have an idea of what their budget should be,
Mm,
ads. And I have to say, okay, well, you need to factor in at least 3 months of testing, especially if you've never run ads before. It's like you're not really sure what messaging is going to hit with your audience, what creative
mm.
stop people scrolling. And I always say you need to test lots of different creative ideas. So maybe you've got a video and you can repurpose things. So if you had a reel that did really well, you can pull it in to Ads Manager and create an ad. Maybe you've got a carousel that did really well. Again, use those images because you know that that's already worked with your audience. So
Mm.
this is why, again, I really advocate for like looking at the whole picture. So you have to be active organically for your ads to work because this is all giving signals to Meta about who's interacting with your audience and all their data points. So the rumors are, and I haven't found the source of this, but I keep seeing it popping up, that Meta has 10,000 data points on every single user of their platform. So that's not just what your name is, your birthday, what groups you're part of. This is like, oh, she was looking at pink trainers yesterday. Oh, she's looked at 3 jewelry sites. Oh, she's interacted with this person. Oh, she's just started running ads. Oh, she's just been added as an admin to this account. There's all these different things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to select in your audience targeting, but Meta knows about your audience. So that's why it's really important for you to be really clear in your ad copy, who you're trying to talk to, and also in your ad creative, so you draw people to you. So people that are looking for like I don't know, say a divorce coach, or maybe they're looking for a profit strategist, maybe they're looking for those pink trainers. So they know who's been kind of looking for those things or interacting with accounts that are relevant to those things. Honestly, it's insane how intelligent the algorithm is on Meta. I think it's the most sophisticated one at the moment.
You are like 10,000.
Yeah. Like one data point, and this is crazy, okay? It will measure how long you've hovered on a post. So they'll calculate how much of it you've read, how interested you are in certain content, so they can use that to show you certain ads.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. So that's why it's really important to be really clear in your ads what it is that you're selling, what the benefits are, and that kind of thing, because that will really help people to be the right people to be shown your ads.
And leaning into like desire marketing instead of pain point marketing, do you
Sorry,
think?
say that again.
Leaning into more desire marketing instead of pain point marketing.
So there's a few things you can do, like, and this is why you need to test. You can either like
Mm,
agitate a problem and then position yourself as having the solution, or you can have, as you say, desire marketing, like, add to your stack if you're like showing earrings, or like get ready for that summer holiday, or, like making people like think of something nice. And then it'll be like, oh yeah, I want to treat myself. Or even messaging about treating yourself, or gift someone special, or, there's so many things that you can, and the thing is, just have fun with it. Like, one of my rules is never fall in love with your ads, because the most unexpected thing could be what I call a unicorn ad, and that is one that just takes off. And there are companies that will literally run an ad for a whole year and it will just keep making them money. That is the dream.
wow.
It doesn't happen often, but I have worked with brands where like their business is like taken off because of one ad. It's like it is crazy. It does happen. But it was an ad. If I was to see it in the wild, like if I was shown the ad, I would not think it was anything special. It's crazy. It was literally a photo, like a UGC, user generated photo, like someone had taken on their mobile, and that was run as an ad, and it was like it just took off. So it's really important to have a dabble on Canva and create something, but take loads of like natural looking photography as well.
Mm.
So when I work with product-based companies, like selling things, like tangible things, I always say, ask your customers to take photos for you, and I usually give a bit of guidance on what kind of photos to look for. If it's like a coach or a service provider, I say, show your face, talk to camera, have subtitles, show your passion for what you do, because people will just stop scrolling to watch you, because we're human. We're like hardwired to look at faces, and we're just nosy as well, really, aren't we?
Mm.
So you really can't underestimate the power of showing a face in an ad as well, whether it's yours or not.
Yeah. I've got a couple of questions. One,
Hmm.
I want to sort of like, if people are really like, I'm going to dabble, how do they start dabbling? But also, and this I think is a selfish question, when you do those ads, what percentage of clicks or impressions, like that data, you go, oh, that's working? Because there's like click-through rate and percentages. I think because if you're not new to ads, or you're well, I'm talking about myself. I have dabbled a little bit, and knowing how much the percentages I'm expecting that are like, and I've heard it's like 1%. If it's 1%, yeah, it's all right. For people that are new to it, straight away they're going to think 1% is crap. But is it around there for people to go, oh yeah, okay, that's not too bad?
Yeah. So the first question about how to dabble, a lot of ads managers are very anti-boosting,
Mm-hmm.
whereas I think there's no harm in trying it. I think it's because it's such a big thing to suddenly put your hard-earned money down for an ad, isn't it? There's
Mm,
reasons why you shouldn't do it long term, and I can touch that on that as well. But just to put, say, a fiver on a post that's organically done well, just to see how it works, like, just to see, oh, a notification's come up, this person started following you from your ad,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
someone's liking this, you're like, oh, it's like this buzz. Suddenly, a whole new person has just come into your world because of a fiver. It's
Mm,
honestly magic when you think like what the impact it can have on your business. So my rule is don't be scared of a boost. I mean, the loss you can make is like, £5 or whatever. It's not gonna like rock the business. Well, it shouldn't, £5.
yeah,
If you want to take it more seriously, if you just want to build your email list, I would say £10 a day I would give it minimum probably 6 weeks. So what's that? 7 times 6, 42,
420. Yeah.
yeah, 420 quid. I would budget that as your ad expense for your
Mm,
list building campaign. Obviously, you're going to be looking at your cost per lead. So how much is it going to cost me to achieve each of those leads?
yeah.
Now, one of the myths is we want the leads to be as cheap as possible. There's no harm in, I mean, it's great if you can get good quality cheap leads, but the quality is obviously what you want. You want a good quality lead. There's
Mm,
nothing wrong with paying 3, 4, 5, 6. Some people pay 15, £20 for a lead because they're selling really high ticket programs that are like 25, £30,000, or they're selling £45,000 kitchens, or you get the idea.
yeah.
Depending on like what your end goal is, your cost per lead needs to be relative to that. So you might have to spend a lot more on 50p leads to sell a £45,000 kitchen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you want a bit of a steer on how well your ads are doing, the click-through rate is one thing you can look at. If you're targeting a completely cold audience who know nothing about you, 1% is good, around 1%. As you say, if someone new to it, you'd be thinking, is that it?
Yeah.
1%? That's nothing. But
Yeah.
you just think about the thousands of people that are being shown your ads. 1% is what you should be aiming for. If it's way lower, so 0.5, 0.2, like, oh, something's not quite working here.
Mm,
If you're doing a retargeting campaign, and I always like recommend that you have that, because not everyone's going to buy your thing or sign up to your thing the first time they come across it. You might need to show them and remind them that it's there. I'd say about 3%. That's
okay.
usually kind of gold standard on that because they know you already. They're not cold to you. Is that the question?
Yeah.
I can't remember if I've
I've
answered the
got
question.
no, I've got another question now because you said some words that scare me. And
Oh,
because and like this is when and I'm going to talk for people, and I reckon this is going to resonate. I am a very intelligent woman. I have qualifications. I've got a master's degree coming out my ear rolls. I used to be a teacher. I know I am clever, but the word pixel and retargeting, it's like Shania
a
Twain. This
different
is such
language.
a, I cannot, Shania Twain always looks different. When you look at her face, it's completely different all the time. And maybe it's just me. I cannot learn what these words are. Like, I cannot learn what Shania Twain's face is. I don't know what retargeting me. Cold, I get. Like, you're just flinging it out there. But then my next question is, how do you know who to fling the cold to? Or who's cold? And then
Okay.
retargeting is like, what does that even mean? Do you know what I mean? Pixel, I've got an
Okay.
idea. Pixel is like it's collecting information about people that are coming to you into your world naturally, and they're just collecting information, I imagine. But yeah, retargeting.
Yeah. So part of the ad starter kit, there is a glossary. It's like a jargon buster.
Oh,
So definitely take a look because I've added, because I
definitely.
know it's like a different language,
Yeah.
but so like really simplify the cold retargeting, that kind of thing. For anyone, I mean, even this sometimes is a bit like when I first heard it after corporate, I was like, what on earth are they talking about? But when you're trying to kind of bring new people into your world, there's like the marketing funnel. So you have like this, people, cold people coming in at the top, and then usually they'll become aware of you, then you'll make them like you. Some might drop off because they're not my cup of tea, they're not what I need. And then they'll do their research, think, okay, they're the best at what they do, or that's the best product for what I need. And then by the end, they're hot fans, they're buying from you.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes from cold to not knowing you at all to buying from you. And that's usually your retargeting stage. So once they've got to know you, that's cold. Once they're in that consideration, like warming up to you, that's what you call like your warm audience. So that's usually called your middle of funnel
Okay.
or moth. Sometimes it's like short too.
All right.
So
Yeah.
cold is top of funnel, so that's toff. Middle of funnel is moth, and then the hot audience at the bottom is your bottom of funnel, which is boff. So you've got toff, moth, and boff. So if you're listening to any ad strategist, they're always flinging toff, moth, and boff about. And retargeting is basically taking these cold people that have engaged with you somehow, whether they've signed up for your email list, visited your website, engaged with your social accounts, and then you show them slightly different ads that can build trust. So maybe you show them some customer reviews. Maybe you've been in some magazines. So you say, as seen in Vogue or
Mm-hmm.
Psychology's magazine or whatever. And then your hot retargeting to your boff audience can be something like with an offer. So subscribe to that email list and get 20% off, or get a free mini consultation when you book in, or something like that, something that's really compelling. And these offers you have to test as well. Organically, you probably tested them to
Mm,
say, okay, when I like offer this to my email list, someone bites and I get a sale, that offer you put into your ads because you know it's tested. It's a tested offer. So I
mm.
hope that's demystified
It has.
what the terms
But
are.
now I have anxiety of who retargets? How do I know who these people are? This is what I think I'm so scared about. Like 10,000 things. I'm never, how do I know who these people are? Like, do I have to do something? Do I have to give them names? I don't know. Like, it's so,
No, so this
God,
is like
thank God
one
for you, Aggie. Eh? What would people do without people like you?
so that you don't need to worry about that. That's the great thing. So this is
Oh,
like
okay.
finding them for you. You do have to like put a bit of like, if you've never run ads before, you might put 3 or 4 interests into your ad targeting so they have a steer on your business. So, maybe you're looking for people that are divorced, or
Okay.
maybe you're looking for people that have an interest in interior design, something like that. And then they will find lots of people. And it takes a while for the pixel to learn who your people are. This is why you need to have a long-term view on your ads. If you just run them for a week, By the time it's starting to warm up, you stop it. So
Okay.
you don't even get off the gate, really. That's why the longer you run them, the better your results should get, because you're learning more and more and more. So yeah, I really hope I haven't terrified you. But anyone
No.
who engages with you from those ads, they get put into audiences that you can decide what they are, like engaging your subscribers, social media engagers, your website visitors. You say to Meta, anyone that does these actions are in this warm audience, and then you show them these ads with like my customer reviews. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of like,
Yeah. And I think you know your stuff. You're definitely authority in this. And but I just, my brain is just not taking it in. And I think that that is the reason you've got a successful business. And now I need to work out a way to hire you into my business because I don't know. It's literally, you know, again, I used to be a maths teacher, but sometimes I can't count coppers. This is the kind of thing. This is it. Like I can't, I just, brain is just not, but you have explained it really well. I feel more confident now. So it's not like, it's not,
I'm glad.
yeah. No, I do actually feel like um I've got a launch next week. It's too late for that. However, now I feel like I've had a couple of reels do well. I might throw a five at those, boost them up, just get a little bit more visibility before my little challenge next week. And then before the next one, which I've already know when it is, I could create some kind of strategy, or I'm going to find some money under the bed and get you involved. And then everything will work out fine.
One thing, so if you are launching, you should start running ads about 6 weeks
Yeah.
before your launch, just because of that testing period. It takes time for people to commit, obviously, to anything, and you want to be able to nurture them because they build up trust. So when you actually sell the thing that you're launching, they know you and they're like, yes, I need it.
Yeah. And it's another, we're talking another again about another superpower that we have to have as business owners is resilience and curiosity, because you cannot go into something like this. And it is, I suppose, an elevation, isn't it? You're reflecting on the business. How can I elevate it? Picking out the good things. And like you said earlier, it's a magnifying glass, exposing and amplifying what's already amazing. And I know, like in my mastermind, people have got ad managers and they have so much success from ads for their memberships. It's unreal. It's so inspiring. And I think that people, what I think that you've done today is go, oh, ads aren't for, you know, Nike and Gucci and all of the big brands. They're for everybody. And this is how you could start. And I think throwing a fiver at a boot to boost a post that you know's done well, what else could happen from it? It's obviously going to just elevate the, I'm guessing, elevate the patch that it's going to be shown to.
Yeah, absolutely. So it literally just gets more eyeballs on your content. I wouldn't say don't expect the world from a
No,
boost, but if you just want to have a dabble, just like, just dip your toe in, just to
yeah,
like get over the fear. Like the first step is always the hardest, I think. So like, and also whenever you try something new, whatever it is, whether you're like doing diving for the first time or whatever, like just putting that first bit of money from your business into something to invest in your business. I think mentally as well, from a mindset perspective, you're like, you're putting trust in yourself. So I'm
mm,
investing because I know that this is going to be a success. And even if things like, there's always a reason why ads don't work. That's another thing I want to stress. So you have to be a bit of a detective. It's like, okay, so why hasn't this resonated? Is it the audience? Is it my messaging? Am I not
mm,
attracting the right people? If they're not clicking on it, maybe it's not stopping them enough in their tracks to take a proper look at my ad. So there's so many things that there's always a reason if they don't work. If you like businesses that say to me ads don't work for me, I'm like, why? Let's have a sit down about this and like really look at it, because I know I'll find out why they're not working for you.
I love that. You must be, you like the buzz when you figure it out and then they start working. Oh, I bet that's good. That's so cool. Oh, Aggie, I've lost where was I'm all, I feel very grateful and also thrown and filled up with knowledge and empowerment and a little bit scared, but also I've got power to fight that fear. But also
Yes,
I
be
really,
inspired.
yeah, but I also need to get you in my business at some point. What we were talking about, oh, where am I? This is a human podcast. There's no like I've just lost myself. Right. Come on, Claire. I've just literally lost my thread. I'm back in the room. I ask everybody who comes on the podcast what they wish they knew 10 years ago that they know now. What would you tell yourself 10 years ago if you could?
You will figure it out. Like there's all, and I've noticed this, like every day there's something new that gets thrown at you when you have a business, whether it's something locks you out of your account, or you might get a tricky email from someone, or suddenly this expense comes out of your business account. You're thinking, I didn't see that coming. You always you'll figure out a way to answer. You'll figure out a way to pay off that thing. Yeah, there's always an answer. And I didn't really think about that when I was employed, because I never had to. But I just think I've become really resourceful and like lateral thinking minded. And I think a lot of business owners can relate to that, because that's what you find, don't you? You just have to figure it out.
Yeah, it's no IT department, is there? Like
No,
earlier when we had a tech issue, it's like, there's, I think it's just a done thing when you doing a podcast with other business owners. You're like, oh yeah, no, we'll figure it out. We just have to wait for everything to figure out. And it does. And
yeah.
everything
And
works out in the
everything's
end.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Aggie, this has been amazing. I would love to chat to you quickly after, but also, oh my God, I've literally thrown. Right. Come on, Claire. Where can people find you, Aggie?
So I'm on Instagram at Whiteby Digital. You can find me on LinkedIn as well under Aggie Meroni. And if you want to dabble and get started with Facebook, Facebook and Instagram ads, I've got a free Meta Ads starter kit. So I'll give Claire the link so you can access that as well.
Yeah, get that link on it because people are going to want that. And I think I've already downloaded it, but it's one of them. I need that. And then I don't think I've looked at it briefly, but after this, I'm printing it out. I'm gonna go
Get
through
everywhere.
it. I'm gonna put it everywhere. No, this has been amazing, Aggie. Thank you so much for today. The
Thanks for
value
having
in
me.
this episode has been amazing. So I just want to thank you. Very grateful for your time. Thank you. Okay. All right. Fake
Thank you.
goodbye now.
Bye.
Thanks, Aggie.